Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all our viewers, wherever you're watching us from, and welcome to the Youth Show. I'm Kaddy, your presenter tonight. Don't worry, in case you're wondering where Ibrahim Janneh is, your main presenter, I'm sure he's somewhere watching us to ensure that we stay on the straight and narrow, and we promise that we will, EB. This evening's forum, as you would have seen from earlier episodes during the week, is about International Women's Day, or I like to call it Women's Week, actually. So, in case you've missed the previous shows during the week hosted by EB, International Women's Day is a UN recognized event which falls on 8th of March. It has become a day to celebrate how far women have come in society, in politics, in economics and business. The day also marks a call for accelerating gender parity, and significant activity is witnessed globally as groups come together to celebrate women's achievement or to rally for women's equality. The day also offers opportunity to recognize groundbreaking women who have paved the way for gender equality throughout history and continue to do so in this day and age, as well as celebrating those women who continue to champion for gender equality to this very, very day. I am proud that Gunjur Online TV supports International Women's Day. This year's theme for International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. A challenge wall is an alert wall. Very strong theme this year. We are responsible for our own thoughts and actions. We can all choose to call out gender bias and inequality. And I hope that every viewer today watching us and leader watching us, starting with myself, choose to challenge, to recognize gender stereotypes and bias. Together, we all can help to create an inclusive culture, celebrating diversity and embracing our differences. Choose to challenge is a very interesting theme this year, because if you look at the COVID-19 pandemic, women stand at the front lines of the COVID-19 crisis as healthcare workers, caregivers, innovators, community leaders, and organizers. And in some countries, as the most exemplary and effective national leader. Let's take Germany, for example, led by a female, Angela Merkel. They were able to lock down way earlier and suffered half as many deaths on average as those led by her male counterpart. I think that's great success when you look at the COVID-19 war and how it's affected us globally. So today I've got a great lineup of panel. All these people have done amazing work throughout their careers, and they've got great experience to share with us and knowledge as well, and some piece of advice for our young generation and also for our leaders as well. So she's a young woman and a chief executive officer and founder of Single Mother Scheme in Gambia, a first of its kind. Fatoumatta Jammeh, welcome. Today on the panel, we've also got another amazing lady. She's a welfare practitioner and sponsor of Welfare Hub, the Gambia. Welfare Hub seeks to promote well-being of women and children. Not many of those exist in the Gambia, actually. Aisha Cham, welcome on board. I call him my amazing brother ever since I've known him. He's always advocated for women and children's rights. His career spans across youth advocacy, human rights, gender equality, child protection, you can name it. He's now working as a child protection advocate. Jalamang Camara, welcome on board. I've always said that she can sell ice to the Eskimos, and I'm going to carry on saying that because it's true. With the skills that she possesses, she's a sister, a friend of mine, had her hands tied in so many business ventures. When it comes to testing the waters, especially in business. She's ready to give it a go, no matter how hard or no matter what challenges comes with it. Kaddy, Jabang, welcome on board. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming on tonight's show to share your experience, to talk about International Women's Day, and to kind of like drill into the topic a little bit about how International Women's Day is celebrated and also what it actually means to you guys, and maybe to give one or two advices to our fellow listeners. So I'll give you both all like a quick few minutes to briefly introduce yourselves and a little bit about who you are, what you do, the projects that you embarked on at the moment for our viewers. Aisha, Cham, I'll start with you. If you can please give a brief introduction of who you are, what you do, and a little bit about Welfare Hub Gambia.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kaddy, for having me on this platform. Good evening, good morning. Assalamu alaikum to viewers. Assalamu alaikum to my fellow panelists. I am really, really honored this evening to be part of this great show. Aisha Cham. I'm a welfare practitioner by profession. I'm currently working for Lee City Council. My job role is around helping women and young people to reach their potentials. So that's my day-to-day work in the UK. So be a welfare practitioner, it comes to mind that whatever you do, wherever you are, you should always remember home. So that's the way Welfare Hub the Gambia was born in 2017. I was really, really inspired about my own work in the UK and the good things that people in the UK can offer to their citizens. So I also believe that together, when we take those skills and knowledge back home, it can really, really help other people. So Welfare Hub the Gambia was registered in the Gambia 2017. And our work focuses on young people, especially people who have been returned from this illegal migration. And we created workshops for young people to come together and share their experiences. Yeah. We help young people with literacy, what they call it, literacy like English and math, because there are so many young people who haven't even completed their education. We have young people. I'm really happy to share this platform with this young lady called Jammeh, what she's doing. Because we also work with other organizations who really help young people who have been single parents and they did not complete their education. So we work with them. We help them practically, emotionally, psychological support, look at the challenges that they face, like the theme of this year, and how they can overcome those challenges. That's Welfare Hub in Gambia.
Great, thank you, Aisha. That's a really amazing great introduction, and I'm glad that you've mentioned that you work with young women as well, single mothers, and we've got an advocate here, someone who's a CEO, founder of Single Mothers scheme in the Gambia, exactly. Fatoumatta Jammeh. So I think like this is gonna be like connecting the dots, but actually meeting on the forum, and then from there we can try and build up on that to see how you two can work closely together with other organizations as well. I think this is great, amazing stuff. So that would nicely lead me into to get Fatoumatta Jammeh then to introduce herself and to give us a brief on what Single Mothers Gambia scheme is all about. You know, when did it start and what do you guys currently do? How can people access it? Maybe we can go into that later, but if you just give us a brief introduction on how what the scheme is about, really, that would be helpful.
All right, thank you so much. I am Fatoumatta Jammeh, the CEO and founder of Single Mother Scheme. And Single Mother Scheme was registered and formed in 2019, end of 2019 towards 2020, that's 2019 December. And the main purpose of forming this Single Mother Scheme is because we realized that women are very vulnerable, and the vulnerability of women increase when they have responsibilities. So these responsibilities most of the time become a burden on them, like their children, they have to take care of their children,
I think we've
and
slightly lost Fat. Okay.
divorce, women that unfortunately got pregnant without getting married, and women that had lost their husbands in the, let's say, in the journey of life, which we believe even inculcate women who have husbands, but their husbands are less able. Let's say they are sick or they cannot provide. So what Single Mother Scheme do is bring these women together and teach them different skills like sewing, tire recycling into sofas, into furniture,
I think we've lost Fatu Jammeh there, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll have her back on very soon. That's the world of virtual connecting and meetings these days. Internet connection can go off anytime, anywhere. So bear with us, guys. So Kaddy Jabang, hello. All
Hello.
yours, my darling.
Well, thank you, Kaddy, for having me. I'm really honored when you asked me to join your panel to share my ideas or my experience around what the um, International Women's Day celebration going around the whole of the world. My name is Kaddy Jabang, Scatteral Janneh. So I use Scatteral Janneh today. Oh.
Yeah, yes, please. And can you just let everyone know who your husband is as well, please?
I'm a naturalized British citizen living in Leeds with my family, and I'm from Tujereng, the Gambia. I'm a graduate in business and administration, and I also hold an MBA in business and administration. I found the Ethnic Isles just recently. Before then, I used to work for Tesco's, which is a retail supermarket, number one retail supermarket in the UK. I've worked for them for the past for about 16 years until up to 2017 when my husband got ill, so I had to stop working to look after everyone. When the pandemic came, I decided, right, okay, I'm going to explore here and see how we can also adopt and get our ethnic goods instead of like going to other supermarkets or going everywhere and getting in contact with COVID, because COVID then was really it was madness. It's still madness, but it was really difficult those days. So I came up with this idea of like, why don't I just get so? And then there were less flights going to say Banjul or to Dakar or to most African countries. So it was hard to get any of the like the normal ways where we all get our stuffs from back home, asking our families to send us some goods. So that's how the idea of Ethnic Isles came, and it's an online retail supermarket trying to I sell food, African food mainly, and I sell clothing, African arts, anything to do with our culture. The whole idea is like, so we don't have to leave our culture just because we can't afford it. I want to make African food and African culture so available and in the diaspora, so much so that we don't have to just forget about our culture just because it's expensive or just because we cannot have access to it. So yeah, that's about it, I guess.
That's great. See, I've said at the beginning, like she can sell ice to Eskimo. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the first lockdown, she realized there's a gap in the market and she went in there as soon as she could. That's amazing. I think that's what every business person would do, anyone with a commercial head would do actually. So Khadija, and that was a really good move. So now you can access Gambian food stuff online anytime with a click of a button. You'll be in your basket. All you have to do, pay for it, and you'll be at your doorstep. Amazing. It looks like we've got Fatou Jammeh back again. Fatou, sounds looks like earlier on we've lost connection with you. Do you want to carry on where you've left earlier?
Yes, sure. I will love to. I think we have a very slow network, even though I'm trying to get it a very strong one, but it's difficult. Like I
Totally
was saying,
understand.
sure. Like I was saying, single mother scheme has a niche, and the niche is to improve the livelihood and living standard of women, these vulnerable women. So right now, as we're speaking, we have about 512 single mothers in Banjul, and we have about 192 single mothers in KMC, and we have already started training about 75 single mothers, and they will be graduating by the 10th of next month. So those are just a few statistics. It shows you that we have a lot of single mothers, because nowadays we have a problem of divorce rates I think it's not just in Gambia, it's all over the world.
Yeah.
Yes, so considering that we did a random statistics collection and realized that in just in one ward in Serekunda, we have about 190 something single mothers, and
Wow.
we have 19 wards in Serekunda. Multiplying that, it's about 4,000 single mothers in just KMC.
Wow.
Yeah, we have
That's a huge shocking number. And what was the average? Was the average age? If you know, do you know the average
uh,
age?
yes, the average age is so shocking as well of single mothers.
Really?
Yeah, it's about 29, 28, 29 in the interim,
Wow.
because we have moms of 16. We even have some moms of 15. I think our youngest mom, the youngest moms we have are 15.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, it's something that we really need to stand to help each other, because considering that these women that are just having 15 years old are supposed to be the future leaders of the country. So we
Yeah.
should be able to engage them into something that is skillful and profitable for them, so that it will be impactful to them and the country in the long run. So that is the main purpose. I am so passionate about kids. I love kids. So it inspired me to go into single mothers, because I did a survey and realized that 75% of these kids outside begging, stealing, drinking, and all of that are from vulnerable homes. 75% of them are from single mothers' homes, and 25% of them are from poor homes, which is so shocking and sad. Yeah, and actually, this is not what I studied. I did logistics as a field, but I had to
Okay.
deviate it. Yeah, I graduated in 2019, and when I came back, I realized that there was a need to support my country, and there was a need to help the vulnerable, because I could have said, okay, let me just work, earn my money, and you
And
know,
just sit back. Yeah.
yeah, be comfortable. But I
Yeah.
felt that there is a lot more to be done.
Mm.
And I love my country so much that I feel like I don't need to travel to make it. And I don't need to travel to impact lives. I can be here and change lives. And it's a pleasure that by next month, I'll be graduating about 75 students who attended different skill classes for free. We don't charge them anything. We make sure we
Wow.
look for partners and look for support and provide for them the best of skills that we could. We have massage, we have like beauty therapy, that is the pedicure,
Mm.
manicure, braiding, the makeup. We have the tire recycling. Actually, I'm sitting on a tire seat right now that was
Is
made by the
it?
others. Yes,
Oh
and I would.
wow.
Yes, it will be a pleasure showing you guys probably later along the
Yeah,
line.
definitely.
Yes.
Later on in the show, we would love to see that. Definitely, it sounds amazing. Sounds like you upskilling this woman, who we all know that if you upskill one woman, you upskilling the whole nation, like we keep saying all the time. And you realizing that, going back to the Gambia, realizing that, like you said, not sitting on your laurels, but then not being comfortable. taking up that opportunity that you know that you can extend the service to other people that you believe and seeing that they're vulnerable. I think that's great. That it's a great cause that you're doing. But then we'll touch on it later. We like as we go on in the program later. We would like to see that tie that you see it on. I'm sure it looks amazing, seeing that it's been made by female. Brother Jalamang, hello and welcome again.
Hello, Kaddy. Don't know where to start with. It looks like
I'm not
the
too sure
program is
actually.
already getting interesting and it hasn't started yet. And the introductions and what I've had so far, they're just mind blowing. And I don't know. It's just mind blowing. Hearing from various sisters and then looking at the adventure they're following and the career trajectory they decided to choose is amazing. And I think when we talk about, the theme of this year in terms of, challenges for women out there, it appears that, there is what I call a paradigm shift. The construct that's been held is moving. But yeah, my name is Jalamang Camara. As Kaddy have said, I don't know. I'm based in the UK currently, but from the Gambia, and then that's where everything started. And then I studied here at University of East London, and from there I went to University of Kingston. So and currently I'm working in the London local authorities, and then as a practitioner and a manager within a local authority, and then my role is around, as Kaddy rightly stated, is around safeguarding children. That is my role at this moment. And then that, process started from the Gambia. So my entire career pathway have been around advocating for children, women, and then ensure the children are safeguarded. And currently I do, not a lawyer, but I work in the core team in terms of ensuring that, children are safe where they are, and that is where my focus is at the moment. But I would say I'm glad, and then it's a pleasure to be with my sisters, and I think this is a massive learning curve. And then when we talk about women empowerment, when we talk about gender diversity, what we want is women.
Right, I think we've lost the sound there with Brother Jala.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So what I was
most
saying,
of that though.
Yeah, so what I was saying is like, it's a collective responsibility to challenge the construct, in terms of that is held by women, because, we need to ensure that there's that gender diversity. But also when I talk about it, it's about the mindset. So we need to challenge the mindset, individual mindset, society mindset, cultures. These are all things that we need to challenge, and also institutional mindset to ensure that, we have women in the forefront. But, we will detail on that later on. But it's a pleasure, and I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Thank you so much, Jala. I'm glad you said that it's about challenging our mindsets, looking at the gender representation and trying to bridge the gender representation gap, which is at the moment is very, very wide, and we all know that it's not just in the Gambia, but it's across the world actually. So that brings us nicely into the topic for our discussion tonight is women and empowerment. I've got, as you all can see, I've got 3 amazing female panelists here, and I've got a man in the midst of all of us. So it's 4 against 1. Hello, sorry, Jala. It's just how we've planned it. But then I know you'll be able to fight your own battles. So no doubt in that anyway. So the first point I want us all to kind of like explore is I just wanted to check in with you all. what does International Women's Day actually mean to you, especially this year's team Choose to Challenge? What does it actually mean to you? So Fat Jammeh, I'll start with you. What does this year's International Women's Day team Choose to Challenge? What does it mean to you as a young woman doing what you're doing at the moment? What does that choosing to challenge, to break barriers, to help those young single mothers with the scheme that you already got in the Gambia at the moment? What does that team actually means to you?
Actually, it means a lot to me, and I would like to clarify the way I say it, because choosing to challenge can be challenging yourself in different ways. But then I am seeing it as challenging myself in the field of making it better for other people, like for other women. I feel that there are lots of targets and lots of things that are placed there. So this year's team coming with challenging, choosing to challenge is something that is inspiring. So what I would say is, considering the fact that I have lots of targets and lots of goals, considering the fact that there are about thousands and thousands and thousands of single mothers out there, I'm challenging myself that I will make impact in all of this single woman's life in the long run. Yeah.
Great, that's amazing. Choosing to challenge yourself. I think that in itself speak volumes, really, and to try and make impact in all those women's life, those single mothers, women's life. That speaks volume in itself. Fatoumatta, thank you. Kaddy, do you wanna comment on that? What does it mean to you? Ethnic Isles founder, business owner. You know, like I keep saying, you juggle so many things. In your life, like I know, because I went to uni with you, and there were times that when I remember there was a time that when you were heavily pregnant with your second child, there was a day that I saw you at the uni. You were like, I'm like, can she even walk? I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, seriously. I looked at you, then you were like, Max, why are you looking at me like this? I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, you heavily pregnant, you almost like it was, I think you were about 2 months away giving birth. So I'm like, how do you do it? You're like, you know what, you're crazy. I'm going home. I need to be at home. I'm like, okay. I got home that day and I said to Yama Juara, because I was at the time living with Yama Juara. I said to Yama Juara, I saw a friend at school today, but mate, I seriously don't understand how she does it. Like, I don't even know how she carries herself to uni. Like, how did you do it? Like, and so what? So choosing to challenge. Like, so when I'm talking about choosing to challenge, like you coming from all that, and going to uni, through the struggles and everything, working you were working full time as well. You were going to uni, you got family, you got home to look after, you got kids to look after. So choosing to challenge, what does it really mean to you?
Well, I just I've always believed in like women having to have their own independent mind and be able to live comfortably without the shadows of men. And I've always believed that life can be challenging, and there's no constant, there's no easy rides in life. So if women choose to challenge themselves, they make life better for themselves, and then they make life better for their communities, and it changes the way they think, it changes the way they live in the society. If you understand, it changes the way we do things, because that's what challenging yourself does. So for me, I think challenging myself, I like to challenge myself on not only on International Women's Day, but like on a daily basis. And I see lots of obstacles for women in terms of whether to pick a challenge or whether to just be comfortable and not challenge themselves or not better themselves in terms of like, say, retraining. Because if you look at the, say, for example, the diasporan age group, most of us are young. We're all working under the working age. And most of us have like maybe another 10, 20 years or more to work. So for me this year, not only myself, but I'm wondering, like, why don't we all choose to challenge ourselves and upskill ourselves?
Yeah.
Pick a skill or work on a skill that will create a better environment for you and your community, not only for yourself, but for you and your community. But that is not only going to happen with just women alone.
Yeah.
If women has to like pick up challenges, they need the support of their men.
Men, of course.
Most women don't have that kind of support, if you understand. I've had so much support from my husband. When I was going to uni, he will pay my university fees. He will create the atmosphere to make sure that I can think and be independent and do things that will make my challenge a lot more easier. So for me this year, choosing a challenge for every single household should be, why don't we all challenge our women to go and pick up a skill and do and upgrade? If you, no matter how upgraded you are, learning we can never finish learning.
Yeah.
Every single day you're learning, but most of us are so comfortable within like the menial jobs that we do, and that I think so for some women, like we've had the other day, I think Ma'am Linger was saying about her own experience and her own journey. Some women will suffer from not having the support from their men. So this year, why don't we have men, every single man, challenging us to pick up a skill? I mean,
yeah,
be it whatever skill it is that will bring some more income to the family, that will bring some more energy into our community, some more diverse thinking. The way we think as women, I think, is way below like our counterparts from other parts of the world.
Yeah,
and I think it's lack of education, the lack of awareness and lack of education for most of us is way below where we should be. So for example, we could say, okay, there's no opportunities in the Gambia, but what here you have so much opportunities. Most of us, or let's say 80 or 90% of us, have access to education. What do we do with that? Should we not challenge ourselves this year and pick up a challenge? I mean, like a free education or free course or free apprenticeship, and do that, or free something like just to upskill, and then so that our communities will develop a lot more than where it is right now.
Yeah. Totally agree. So what you're saying is men to challenge themselves this year to support their women, to ensure that at least they upskill themselves in something that would bring a whole lot better things to them and their families and the whole nation, and the community as well. Very, very strong challenge there you put in to our men there, Khadija, but let's see what they got to say later. Aisha Cham. So what does this International Women's Day? Are you laughing at the last word that I've just said? Let's see how our men are gonna respond to that, actually, to that challenge. Let's see how they're gonna respond to that. I'm sure it's gonna be interesting, but we'll find out later. Well, we got a man in our midst, so hopefully he'll be able to touch on that a bit later. Aisha, so what does this year's team Choose to Challenge mean to you as the sponsor and founder of Welfare Hub the Gambia, which is, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's one of its kind in the Gambia. Many of it doesn't exist at all. So what does it mean to you?
Thank you again, Bakadi. For me, to challenge, to bring a change, I actually think that UN is just amplifying the challenges that women are facing daily. Women all around the globe, we all know, either you are in the developed world or developing world, they are all faces different various of challenges daily. So to be in the midst of doing a job like a welfare practitioner, the challenge around my work this year is just escalated to another level, because there is so much rife of domestic violence in homes because of the lockdown. You touched a little bit on COVID-19, what COVID-19 has brought to us. I mean, that increases our challenge as women. So women, before, at least you have the little bit of space where the children goes to school. But this year, people who live in the UK and around the globe where lockdown has existed, obviously you have your children, you have to homeschool them. We all know, I don't know other countries, but how small our houses are in the UK. You have 3, 4 children, you have to homeschool all these children. You have your own mental health, your own well-being to look after. You have people around you who needed you the most. So the challenge is an ongoing thing. I'm really, really glad that UN picked this word challenge to bring a change, because women, our situation needs to be amplified more and more for our counterparts, our partners, our uncles, our dads to understand. To be a woman anywhere in the world is not an easy thing. It's a daily challenge, and the challenge itself can break someone down into pieces. And I have spoken to women who are suicidal. I have spoken to women who have really give up on everything. I have spoken to women who lost their job in this pandemic, and their hope have been dashed totally. I've spoken to businesswomen who are very wealthy before this COVID-19, but at the moment they have nothing. And all those challenges, sometimes I would not say men don't understand really, but it's really difficult really to understand what women go through daily. So I think we have challenged ourselves enough. What we need is a support around the globe. We need everyone to understand that women need, when they said women empowerment, I always question myself, and I question people who always say this word. What does women empowerment really means to you as an individual? Because you cannot empower a woman without giving them tools. You cannot empower women without creating enabling environment for them. You cannot empower a woman without even recognizing the challenges that they're going through daily. You can empower a woman if you don't really understand. You need to have that knowledge and the understanding. What this woman, whether it's my sister, my wife, whether it's my auntie, what is it mean to be a woman? I think this is my line of questioning, my line of conversation is gonna go through. Because if people don't understand us as human, as equals, because you touch on that as well, it's really, really hard. I mean, to overcome these challenges. We can all challenge ourselves individually, but institutions, like my brother said, the mindset of women as a group, the mindset of men, because this saying, every successful man, there is a woman behind. But
they like saying that, though. They like saying that.
Yes. But I want to turn that saying into every successful woman, there is a man behind that woman. Because without we cannot do without. So the moment we establish that will really make all of us to go very, very far. But the obstacle at the moment, I think, is lack of understanding, not acknowledging women's challenge, because we always, like Kaddy just said, we sometimes very hard on ourselves, and we need to look into that as well. Women, I salute everybody. I celebrate everyone. This Kaddy Jabang here is someone who I can sit here. All of this program, I will just dedicate it to her. The reason why you mentioned her going to university, I saw this. I witnessed this woman when her husband was not well, because now they choose to share these things. And I think it's a duty on all of us to share what we experience around this great family. You know, Kaddy will speak to me on the phone. We both crying. She'll put that phone down and go and do community work. How she does it, I don't know. She challenge herself. I will hold her very high. I mean, the things that she does, I think if we pass her, we won't find any other woman who challenge herself to the limit. She does challenge herself to the limit. And I think this is how most of the African women, and especially Gambian women whom I can speak for, the way they challenge themselves. So we bring a lot of changes at home. All what we need now is our counterparts to recognize, to acknowledge, to see us that, yes, she is doing very well. Well done. I'm here for you. I am by your side, step by step. I think those are the kind of words, the kind words that we needed at the moment. But I think the challenge is that we have challenged ourselves very, very well. For Jammeh, I'm very, very glad to share this platform with you. And I'm very happy to have my colleague from social services. So, Bakari, thank you. This is like a home for me. And I think as the conversation goes on, we're going to make a great conversation tonight. Thank you.
Well, Aisha, I can see that you're well within your elements here. Carrying on with that, with that brief introduction, which you've sent out some strong messaging there. All we need is acknowledgement, support from men. Let them see us as equals, not as their competitors, because we are equals. We're not competitors at all. So Jala, my brother. International Women's Day and choose to challenge. As a man, you're the only man in here, remember, on the forum, actually. I know there are many of them watching us. So you're speaking on behalf of all of them at the moment.
Yeah, I'll
what
say
does
that.
It really mean to you, actually?
I'll say I'm very lucky to be here. And thank you so much for creating the opportunity to have me on this forum. To me, choose a challenge is how do we break the barriers? So to me, that is the challenge we need to choose. How do we break the barriers around gender stereotypes that is going on, but also how we ensure that, it's not about competition, it's about complementing one another effort. And I think what I heard so far is very inspiring, from hearing from Kaddy, from Fatou, from Aisha, and yourself, shows that, we can do it, but we can only do it together. We cannot do this in isolation. And I think it shows that we all have a role to play, and then we can all stamp our mark in different ways. So to me, it's people recognizing that. But then again, to me, it's about the social construct. We have a lot of long way to go around challenging the social construct. I'm glad to hear that, each and every one of you is trying to do something differently to impact in our society. But how do we ensure that trickle down, to reaching the unreached, someone who is in another part of the globe, whereby they don't have that opportunity? How do we ensure that they reach? But to do that, we need to first of all challenge ourselves as individuals. What, for example, Jala, what can you do to create that enabling environment Aisha is asking for? What can you do to look at, Fatou is trying to reach those single parents out in the Gambia? What can you do to ensure that your colleague, your fellow men understand that they have a duty, to ensure that even someone is single? What does that mean? There is a child. How many times men sees that, a child upbringing is the role of a woman? How do we challenge that to say that, hold on, no, it's not the role of a woman, it's the role of the parents, so you are together, so it's a joint responsibility. Hearing from Kaddy, talking about, entrepreneurship, how can we ensure that someone brings something on the table? We all know normally what happens. If a woman is a breadwinner, she's also the carer, most of the time. In the other way around, if the man becomes the breadwinner, what do they think? The woman should be the carer. So we need to look at these things and challenge them. And these are some of the things that we have to challenge, because sometimes people hide behind either culture or their upbringing, value-based tradition. No, but it's how do we synergize these views to ensure that, hold on, we need to challenge this and have a shift of mindset, because we have a lot of construct. It's either the construct of the mind to say that this is the way it is, this is the way I'm brought up. But I always say to people, the world is not about the way it used to be, it is the way it should be. And I think we need to accept that, the way it should be is to ensure that we treat each other as equals, but also creating the opportunities to ensure that women For example, let's look at a staggering statistics. Yeah, if you look at Fortune 500, yeah, if you look at Fortune 500, 2019, yeah, what do we have? We got about 5.4 women in leadership positions in the world. Yeah,
that is shocking, Jala. That is like shocking.
If you look at it, if you look at it moving, we're talking about this year. How much do we have? 7.4 women in leadership position. If you look at the world,
Jala, sorry, just to break that down, that's 37. That is 37. So that's 7.4%. So that is, in translation, put that into the figure, that is 37 women CEO across the Fortune 500. That's Fortune 500 top companies across the globe.
Exactly. So if you look at that, that is staggering, to hear that. The other aspect also is, if you look at it also, out of all the over 190 head of states in the world, how many of them are women? Trust me, it will not be more than 10. So that shows you that we've got a long way to go. But the only way we can do that is, one, it's not about gender roles. It's about women also recognizing that they have a role to play and they need to come to the table. As I said, if men decided that they don't want to create the table for you, create your table and invite them to the table. And that's the way we need to be working on. And I think to look at that welfare aspect is very important. Let's turn it into COVID-19. This year, last year and this year has been a challenge, but it also has revealed a lot in terms of gender roles, And then as as Aisha was saying, I work in the sector. The level of gender-based violence, domestic violence has escalated. The level of mental health has escalated, in different aspects. Who are impacted more? Who are affected more? These are women. So it shows that we need to do a lot as a society to stand up and ensure that women are counted in the role, in the institutions, where we work, in the workplaces. How many of them, chair meetings? How many of them are in the boardroom? How many of them are leaders in those institutions? So every institution needs to do what is called a review of yourself and then do a reflection of yourself. Look at what do we mean when we talk about diversity. Diversity does not always stop where we talk about culture. Diversity doesn't always stop whether you're color, where you come from. Diversity is about gender also, gender diversity. You need to ensure that it is inclusive in what we do and how we do what we do. It is very important. So to me, it's about complementing women effort. And then the sisters here shows that if you give women one chance, one opportunity, they are likely to change the world. And that's what we're seeing right now. So to me, thank you so much, sisters. And I think all of you deserve something in one way or the other. You stamp in your mark, and then you need to hold your head high.
Thank you, Ja. Thank you, Ja. I knew you will come. You come with full force, Jala, and I knew that I just know, because I know, over the years, and your work have been towards child protection, gender. It's all about that, promoting that, and you've been a great advocate promoting that. So I knew you would do justice to this forum today. Thank you so much. You've touched on some really, really good points on there, which quite important, quite key. Giving women the opportunity, empowering them. But how do you empower them? Give them the opportunity. Make sure you open those doors for them. You support them. And you mentioned something about the workplaces as well. So not just in our society, but the workplaces as well. They have a huge impact on our women's life as well, like you said. So creating the right opportunity for them, making sure the doors are open for them, giving them the skill set that they need, and supporting them. So when I say supporting them, not just saying it by word of mouth, but then acting it. So not just talking, but walking the talk. I think that's where we're lacking. Whereas people will always say, we can have all these forums, we can have these forums every year, and talk about gender balance, gender equality, call out bias. But unless and until we start walking the talk, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So we need to start embedding that in our day-to-day life, in our mindsets, in our activities, in the opportunities that we try to create as well. So it's quite important, because even if you look at the workplaces, I work in HR, I'm a HR professional, but then look at in COVID, what I've realized is that a lot of flexible working applications that come through. It's from women. We hardly get flexible working application come from men. But then I'm like, hang on a sec, like you got a partner. So a lot of them are married. They got partners. Like, how come their partners are not, you know, applying for flexible working applications? Because now you can even go into shared parental leave. So in my whole HR career, the amount of applications that we've had across the board, majority, I would say 99% of them are from women. The only 1% I've seen from men have been like very, very lately. And, you know, it's quite shocking. So it means that women, even when you want to start a family, you got a career, you want to start a family, you think about it. You're like, hang on, it's like you got to choose between having a career or having a family. And when you have a career as well, you then start having a family, you start to think about, okay, what am I going to do? Is your career going to stop? You know, who's there to empower you to say that, okay, Kaddy, you know, that fear about your career is going to stop, or, you know, it's going to be on the line, you know, you may lose your career. It's not going to happen. I'm going to support you. I'm going to make sure you get to where, but then, you know, so that's where we look at our male counterparts and like, okay, here's where you come in to support and help us. And I like what Kaddy Jabang said earlier, because Kaddy's husband, he's another female empowerer, because when I was at uni, he was my mentor. EB, so I know how he feel about all, you know, these things and these subjects. So when we say women empowerment, again, like I said, this forum is all about that tonight. So Aisha, how do you think we can empower our women? Like when I say let's walk the talk, let's not just talk, but let's walk it. How do you think men can walk the talk? And us women as well, we need to walk the talk, because someone can, you know, we can have a man out there, or we can have people out there wanting to empower our women, but then the women have to be able as well to take up those opportunities, have the confidence in themselves, put themselves out there, put themselves forward to be able to walk that walk, to get to that opportunity, and to be able to have the career that they want. So Aisha, what do you think? How do you think young women, especially young women, I would say, can be empowered?
For me, because this word empowerment is a social science theory, and what we do, because I want to narrow this down to Gambian women, what we normally do back home in the Gambia, we pick these theories, we pick things as people just pronounce them. We wouldn't understand them, and we wouldn't actually know what to do with them. Because women empowerment, youth empowerment, we actually, I personally am tired of hearing about them, because
we abuse the word, Aisha.
Serious,
I think you say you want to say that we abuse the word empowerment.
Yes. To me, you know, we are really using these words daily. Do we really mean that we really actually meant to empower? Because empowerment is not about borrowing a power and pass it to another person. It's about enabling a person to self-actualize. So how do a person have to reach that self-actualization? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. So, for example, in the Gambia context, when Barrow government came in, they brought a whole ministry of women ministry. I was very, very happy. I said to myself, now, I think they're going to recognize that what women are going through. Because you're going to find a solution to a problem if you don't understand the problem or if you don't know the problem. So having these legislations back home, having all these fancy policies back home, what do we do about them? Because one time I was talking to somebody, I said to the person, if Barrow government are really interested to empower women, I will just direct them to Kerfatu's program called Kutubundala. What that Kutubundala does, because this is the work for a media. They expose a lot of things about what Gambian women are going through right now. If you watch those programs, they will bring you to tears, because that's what they do to me. So if we are really interested in empowering those women, for example, the women in Combo, we know the horticulture in Combo, how it is like there. Women are engaged in this work. They are working tirelessly. day in, day out. What did they need to empower those people? If you ask them, they cry about water. In this day and age, borehole, these are the empowerment. That's what we need to talk about. The reality, the social reality about people's life. We can use all these fancy words, but these women who need the day-to-day bread and butter, that's what we need to talk about. If you give a woman garden, a borehole, a solar borehole, you have solved their problem. Because they don't ask you a penny. They need that tool to empower themselves. So we need to stop all these fancy workshops, all this wastage of money. If Barrow can have 120,000 fish money per day, that 120,000, 2 days, that can dug a borehole for a woman. So are we really interested in empowering our women, or we just here just to mention the word empowering? Kaddy, for me, this woman empowerment, youth empower, I think is just an abuse, and I believe it's just something that is we just choose the word to enrich ourselves. So people who use it as some other means. So if we are a serious country, Bakadi, go to Tangier, go to Bakote market where women clothes and scarves. Go to all these coastal areas where women fishermen are based, and see their conditions. Go to women's gardens and see women, what they go through day in, day out, just to put bread and butter on the table for their kids. It's wrong. And if we don't recognize it, if we don't call it as it is, we won't find a solution. So to have a solution to a problem, we first of all have to recognize the problem. And the problem is we are not empowering these women. We are just talking. And I personally am tired of talking. I want to see people who, like you said, who stand up firmly and come together. We women need to come together. We need to unite. As my brother said, if we are not invited on the table, let us create our own dining dinner table and
invite them on that table. Of course.
Exactly. Nobody is going to experience, or nobody is going to understand us as we understand ourselves. So the bottom line is we have to challenge ourselves. So my challenge, that's where it comes. We need to come together and speak the same voice, because without this speaking from the same voice, again, that these pockets of organizations here and there, I am doing my little quota, Jammeh is doing her little quota. It does help, but it won't solve the problem. So I am also in, because Gambia, the studies are so disintegrated. That's one thing that really made me talk. When I come back to UK, I was to myself, how on earth are we going to fix this country? Because me, like working in an organized environment, like a whole city council, it's just a matter of looking in the system and do whatever you want to do there. But even a referral system in the Gambia, it doesn't exist. You don't know who is doing what. There are millions and millions of organizations who do exactly the same what I am thinking. It's a matter of coming together, unite together, bring our resources together, and work together and solve these problems. But without that, we're going to be here having this kind of forums. We'll be talking and talking and talking. Nothing's going to change. And we need to bring that change on the board right now.
Thank you so much, Aisha. We need to break the barriers, and there are a lot of blockers in the way, like you said yourself. All these organizations, like the ones you got yourself, Fatoumatta one, like if we can bring them all together, and then we'll be able to make a massive impact and big changes. It looks like it's still gradual steps to that, and like I said earlier, we need to start walking the talk, not just keep talking. Kaddy Jabang, where are you? Women empowerment. Any comments from you?
Yeah,
I'm sure you're aching to talk now. Come on.
Well, Bakari, the women empowerment for me is I'm going to talk for the diasporan woman. for me is how do we empower ourselves? For me, it's about it will start with our mindset. Obviously, I'm talking about from where I am from, like the let's say the Gambian woman or the West African woman. How do we empower our mindset? How do we change the way we think? How do we change the way we live? How do we change? How do we move on from the norms of the old society? We live in the West. We don't have any excuse. That's my excuse. We don't have any excuse as women in the diaspora. We have so much access to loads of things. We have so much access to internet and everything. How do we empower? How do we make the most out of that? How do we say, for example, what Jala said? How do we pick the table, create our own tables? How do we demand that? How do we continue to demand that? Is by supporting each other. To start with, we need to support each other. We need to work as a team. We cannot work independently. Of course, while we wait for our governments to sort themselves out, or how do we do what we can do at individual levels? I like I said before, why don't we start with challenging ourselves this year to upskill ourselves? Not only upskilling doesn't only mean like going to school or but there are lots of things we can do. How do we upskill ourselves and think? How do we think about the way we eat? How do we think about the way we exercise, the way we live? Because we live less. We don't live. Our counterparts live longer than us. We live like 20 years or less. I mean, lesser than our European counterparts, if according to statistics. So how do we break those barriers? For me, that's where I want to empower our women to think around this year. How do we pick up this year? Every single person, every single diasporan woman should pick up and say an exercise regime. You know, we're not getting younger. Most of us are like in our middle age. How do we like create time to just exercise a little bit? How do we ask our men to give us that space? Create that environment for us to like do things that will make us happy. That is the real support. But how do we support ourselves? How do we support our little community activities? Like, you know, as women, most of the time when we start things, the support is not only from the lack of support is not only from the men, but it's from your women counterparts.
From the women.
You set up a business, you know, women would say, "Oh, where did you get the money from?" If you want to go to, if you want to upskill yourself and do anything, there's always a question. Where do you get this from? If you set up a charity, they will say, "Oh, well, the money
is it gonna last?"
Want to do it
or
for
they'll
herself.
say, "Is it gonna last?" Actually,
when do we start to empower and educate and realize that, you know, if we don't create these things for ourselves, men are not going to do it for us. We have to take that opportunity. We have to demand those powers from men to empower ourselves and get to where we want to get our communities or our societies. And if we don't start now, we cannot say, "Oh, we'll leave it." We shouldn't give up. We shouldn't say, "Oh, we'll leave." You know what? I'm old. I will leave it for my children to do those things for us. We have a long way to go in terms of our health. How do we improve on that? In terms of supporting each other, in terms of like be kind to each other, even just the way we talk sometimes can be too harsh, you know. So how about protecting each other, you know, instead of like telling Kaddy the gossips that you hear about Kaddy, you know, and impacting on her mental health, like Aisha mentioned. How do we work on all of that? I think, to me, sometimes when I think about like how we live our life as women in the diaspora, sometimes it can be very toxic. And you just wonder like, "Oh, I don't want any friends. I don't want any companionship," and that can bring so much loneliness into a woman's life. Sometimes you need that woman companionship, you know, to like share things. And if we don't change that mindset of like knowing that we can do this, you know, we deserve to do this. Women don't have to justify themselves. You know, if a woman said, "Oh, I've been raped," a fellow woman will be the first person saying, "Oh,
is it true?
Is it true?"
Yeah, or you brought it up on yourself. That's the first thing they'll say. You brought actually, how did it happen? You know, like, or you brought it up on yourself. No one will believe you, or your family will be like, if you go on and say this, like, it's gonna bring a disgrace to us, especially in our African society. We, you know, it's come on, guys, it is the honest truth. Like, you cannot come out as a woman, like Kaddy way just said, it's quite. You cannot come out as a woman and say that I've been raped, because the first person they'll look at you like you're an outcast. That's the first thing that will come into their mind. And you, the woman, you wouldn't even want to put yourself in that position. So 9 out of 10 times, women don't even report it in our African society. And it's happening every single day. Yeah. It's so disheartening.
That's my empowerment this year. For me, that's the only way we can empower ourselves while we wait for our governments to do to sort themselves out, is empowering our mindset. Let us support and be kind to each other. Let us educate. Let us take the challenge and educate ourselves. What we eat, how we spend our money. We need to think about all these. They are not going to happen for us automatically. You know, we have to think, how do we spend our money? How do we create wealth within our own communities? The only way we're going to get that respect is creating wealth, creating that healthy environment within ourselves. How do we do all of that for ourselves, not waiting for our children to do those for us? I think is for me is where the empowerment should would be, and it will start with women supporting each other, and then it will start with also women demanding these things from their men. Women will be. Most of us are like so comfortable to like empower our men and say, oh, they will provide for us. I think we've moved from that generation. We've all seen what women can achieve. Or what if you've not planned for anything that life can throw at you, if you've not empowered your woman and things change, how do you expect the family to cope? How will we cope if we have lots of broken societies, you know, and we're all connected, you know. If my family break, that means the whatever happened to my children, or whatever attitudes they pick up affects the whole society. So for me, is empowering our mindset to start with, and not feel comfortable around like saying, oh, I've got a husband, he can provide, or you can provide, and then sometimes women can be very wealthy, you know. In the diaspora, we can have so much financial achievements ourselves, but how do we manage that? Sometimes can lack. I think that all of that is like the lack of education. How do we manage our money? You can put your money onto osusus and take the osusu and spend it all on clothing and throwing out parties
or holiday,
instead of like investing it on long-term investments. I think that's where we're going to get respect as women. Definitely. You know, we've got to create that financial backing for ourselves. Invest on things that will last longer for the family, instead of like just short-term investments. Most of the time, I think as women, we tend to invest short-term. I think it's all lack of the mindset that we have, that women should not have a lot, or women should be comfortable. We should be provided for. So,
Kaddy, you just mentioned something there which is quite key actually, because women, as women, making sure that we create that financial support for ourselves, it's quite key. It's really important, because then when you have that financial backing for yourself, that financial support, if you like, if you want to call it, when you have that for yourself, if you find yourself in a vulnerable situation, you'll be able to easily move out of there and find your way out of it. So a lot of women find themselves in a vulnerable situation. They cannot move out of it because they haven't got the financial support to move on. And even their families that they've got, they cannot even move back there again because they cannot support them. So it's so disheartening. It's really hard. Fatoumatta, any comments on that? I can see you smiling there. Any comments on that? On what Kaddy just said?
Yeah, she said it all, and I was thinking about saying almost the same thing, because my own empowerment begins with us, because I feel I should empower myself first, then my fellow woman should empower me first before a man can empower me. I think we should be in a position where men will be comfortable to empower us. We should be able to fix each other's crowns as women, because I think what Auntie Kaddy is saying is not just in the diaspora; it's everywhere. You succeed in life, a woman is the first person that queries your success.
That is true.
Whatever you do in life as a woman, and it's a plus, instead of a woman to support you and probably push you to it, she will instead discourage you and then say things that are not probably the best, that will not motivate you, it will not push you, and it might end up affecting you mentally. So I feel that men will not be blamed if they don't support their women at the end of the day, because we don't support ourselves and we don't empower ourselves. So I think the first thing we should consider doing is thinking about supporting each other. I should be able to sit down there and see my sister succeeding, and then I add up to her success and push for her to be better. The other thing is, like Aisha said, we are supposed to come together, because sometimes I feel that we have fear of coming together to because sometimes we need to synergize. It's not about independence, it's about interdependence. We need to interdepend on each other to synergize as a country, as a nation, as associations, to be able to empower ourselves. We have like thousands of women associations here. I will take myself for example. I have approached a lot of them for us to have a synergy, because there are certain things we do in common. But you feel the fear in them, like, okay, why is she doing this? Why can't she do what she does, and we do what we do? Which is going to make it very difficult, because I might have support and you wouldn't have support, or you might have support and I wouldn't have support. But when we come together, we strengthen our forces and make it easier for anybody or any organization or any institution to support us, because then we are together, we are strengthened, and we have shown that we have one voice, and the motive is to help people out there. So I believe that there is a lot of work to be done. And I am one person that doesn't sit back and blame government, because I feel that government is not government. We are all government.
We are government. That is true.
Yes. They can only make impact when we contribute. If we don't and sit back and say, okay, we are young, we will not participate in politics, or we will not try to make impact in particular areas, they should, because it's their responsibility, then I believe we will not move forward, especially Gambia, as because I will talk for my country. I believe that as youth and women, when I bring them together and sit with them, what I first encourage them is to have the mindset and mentality that they're supposed to be patriots. They're supposed to do whatever they're doing to impact not just themselves and their families, but to also impact the country. Because impacting the country is a long-term investment. You have children, you will have great-grandchildren, and they're all going to be Gambians.
Yeah.
That is if you're planning to get married to a Gambian, or even if you're not, you're still a Gambian. So you will have something to do here. So considering the fact that you're making impact in the country, that would impact those children in few years to come. So I believe the empowerment should start with us. Like Auntie Kaddy says, we should attack our mindset, we should think positive, and I believe if we start thinking right, the way we act will change. And if the way we act change, the results will also change. So yeah, basically it's all about us. It starts from the individual, tackling your issues, tackling your problems, and focusing on yourself, and then moving on. Because when we tackle our issues and our problems, when we are able to see each other as sisters and not rivals and not competitors, we are not supposed to take the term challenge, like choose to challenge each other. No, we are supposed to take it to challenge ourselves and support each other and empower each other to get better. Yeah.
Nicely landed there, Fatoumatta. Really, really strong words there. Yeah, collectively we can do more, and we can impact the wider community. Collectively, we can reach even beyond where we think that we can reach. Actually, one thing you didn't mention as well, and Kaddy's mentioned it as well. Women, we just need to come together, enable each other, and stop throwing each other under the bus. It's not good. It's not a good looking it's not even pre on a woman. It's not nice at all. Like, you know, it's not nice. It's not nice. Let's as women, let's empower each other. And like you know, you both said, Kaddy has said it, Fatou said, Aisha has said it, and you know, you can start your own business, or you can start doing something, and you know, your fellow women will get wind of it and be like, oh, how did she even get to that? How did she get the money? Oh my god, let's see if it's gonna last. That's the first thing they said. Let's see if it's gonna last. It's like, hello, like those things, those kind of things are not nice. Let's stop demotivating each other and motivate each other to do more. Because at the end of the day, if Kaddy succeeds, Kaddy's success is going to lean onto someone else's success, and that's going to carry on and on and on. So that line just carries on and on and on. But I think women, we don't really see that. Jala, as the only male panelists in here, how do you think women can enable each other more? Because we've heard from all the female panelists, but from a man's point of view, what do you think? Because I'm sure you're laughing. I'm sure you've seen this, like, you know, I'm sure in other forums, or like even in chats or in discussions, you hear women talking about each other and gossiping and all that, and you know, throwing their fellow women under the buses, and you're like, oh my god, can they just change their mindset? I know men don't do that really, but women do that. We do that. I know that we do that. As a man, what do you think? How do you think women can enable each other?
I think you raise
actually.
Yeah, I think you raise a significant topic here, and I think the point here is it's not about bringing each other down. It's about how do we lift each other up, and I think that is the key here. And to do that, we need to look at what is called self-actualization, and I think Aisha touched on that. You know, we need to look at how do we ensure that as women, as people, yeah, we able to look at what can we do to ensure that we reach what is called at a level of self-actualization. What is the journey towards that self-actualization? Regardless of which area you touch. If you look at here, this is a forum of 5 people, yeah, and then all the 5 or 6 people, all of us have somewhere that we're hanging on, and all of us have what is called lived experiences.
Yeah.
And those lived experiences, we need to look at how do we make the best use of that so that we can channel that positive energy to something that will help us self-actualize the goals we have set for ourselves. For example, if you look at, the Gambia, women most of the times are spectators as opposed to, contributors. If you look at the political system in the Gambia, how many women political parties are there? Anytime a woman wants to set up a political party, they bring you down.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you go to the rallies, yeah, who is there?
Women, it's women.
It's the women. And then what are they there? They are spectators. And that's why I still believe the slogan.
And Jala, even on that though, like they are spectators, but they are the one who bring the crowd in. They're the yai companies, they're the organizers. They're the one who rallies, who do all the rallying, who do all the marketing, if you want to call it, for all these political parties. They're the one who bring the crowd in.
But then who invite them to the table? They don't invite themselves to the table.
No.
The men invite them to the table. So that's why I created this slogan that they need to create the table. For example, we were all in the Gambia when we were growing up, yeah? And I believe that women can be empowered, young people can be empowered to make a difference, to stand their mark in the history book of that nation, because I have lived it, I have seen it, When we set up organization, when we look at all those young, talented women in the Gambia, each and every one of them is attached to an organization that all of us have been part of, And then because there we saw them that here is a roadmap that can be followed. You don't need to even create, you don't need to recreate, Look at the roadmap to follow to ensure that young people can be empowered. And I think Aisha and Fatou touched on very important landscapes that we need to touch on. It's about creating structures, structures whereby people will be able to recognize those structures and associate themselves with those structures. But you cannot have a disorganized system in the terms of, you got a lot of organizations, each are doing X, Y, Z, but no one knowing whether the left is doing what is doing. And then you end up confusing the society because there is no consistent message that is going out there. And that is what we need. We need structures to be established so that we can empower women. But having said that, the other thing I want to touch on is what is called these deeply seated views of women in our society. And then as, men, that is what we need to challenge. We need to challenge ourselves as men. We all need to go either through a microscope or on the mirror, and you look at yourself as a man, say, what am I doing today to ensure that me and that woman, it's not competition, it's not about power, it's not about masculinity, but it's about social, social equality. Gender roles is irrelevant at this moment. We are in a society whereby we need to look at who can bring what on the table. How can we negotiate? It's not about power, so we need to work on looking at that construct and to ensure that we change the geopolitics of the Gambia, the geopolitics around women on these systems, and how do we ensure that, as Fatou said, we synergize them to complement one another's effort. That is what we need to do. The other thing also is we have what is called problematic belief systems. This is the way it has been. This is the way my grandmother, my grandfather, I said to people, listen, those days, we don't put doors in our doors. Olden days, there is no doors. Why do we lock doors? Because systems have advanced. So therefore, we cannot be sitting, folding our hands and thinking that things will come to us. No, we need to create things so that we can all gain that platform. So it's important that we look at ourselves in our eyes to say, what as a Gambian can I do? And then, I'm sometimes deeply, hurt, or sometimes I'm heartbroken when I hear a woman coming up, I want to set up a political party, for example. And then before you know, they just break the woman's heart totally. And then, make them irrelevant in the platform. And then women also trying to bring one another down is not healthy for anyone, because to me, it's about that empowerment, understanding that, it's not competition, it's what can you offer on the table? What can you bring on the table so that we can help one another? If you look at all of you here, amazing things are happening in the Gambia. But again, that cannot happen when the enabling environment is not there. And when I talk about enabling environment, I'm going to the homes. I'm going to the home, to the society, to the institutions, because enabling environment cannot create themselves. People have to create them. If you are in a household where there is domestic violence, there is abuse, there is exploitation, there is bringing you down, rather than, how many times women have to dust themselves, to get up again because someone brought them down. No, it needs to start there. We need to create that peaceful environment within the household. Women understand that here, I'm not a slave. I'm not enslaved in this house. They realize that I have potentials. It's how do I channel those potentials? I need to be given that opportunity, as Kaddy said, to self-actualize what I want to be, what I want to do, so that I can bring something on the table, but not be in the kitchen, not being in the tailoring store and whatsoever. Of course, it's looking at what we can. If you look at, for example, Gambia, you look at the gardening project, you look at all the things, women are all there. Those products, where do they go? What do we do with it? Gambia is rich.
It is.
It's rich. But what do we do to ensure that we bring that richness out? So to me, it's bringing, as far, is it, Aisha said, when we talk about, an institution for women, but an institution for women, what does that mean? When we talk about women empowerment, what does that mean? It's not about a woman dominating. That is, it's a misconception.
But I think, Jala, just on that, I think that's what a lot of people will think when we say women empowerment, women equality. A lot of people think that women taking over. It doesn't mean women taking over.
Exactly. So it's looking at, and again, to do that, we need to look at our social structures. And looking at, how do we utilize the social structures to ensure that positive energy, that positive view, and those constructs, we need to challenge those constructs. This is the way our people think. No, this is the way we think now. And then it's that mindset, going there, challenging that mindset to say the way things used to be, or the way things are, and the way it should be is different. So we need to substitute that to way this is the way it should be, and accept that that is the way it should be, and then work together. And I think unless we recognize that, it will continue to be a challenge. We will come here next year again. We'll be talking about women empowerment, women challenges, but it's looking at what do we bring on the table. We know women need to create the table. I'm happy. You see, you created the table. You invited me to the table. This is not my table. So therefore, each and every one of you can create that table.
Don't be afraid to be the first. I would say, Jala, like you just said, create the table, create your own table, invite the people that you want to invite onto that table to take a seat and have those conversations with them. I think these conversations about women equality and empowerment and bias and all that, it need to carry on, and it's something that we need to be having our everyday conversations. I think that way our mindsets will gradually change. And like you said earlier, like in the olden days, when people are saying, oh, this is how we do it in the olden days, that's gone. In the olden days, when women were known to be mothers, taking care of the household, not going out to work, the men going out to work and bringing in to feed their family, that doesn't happen anymore. Nowadays, it doesn't happen anymore.
And to add to that, Kaddy, I think another aspect we need to look at is, unless we do that, we won't be able to challenge what is called the unconscious bias. Because men sometimes can have unconscious bias. People think, oh, what is going on here? But because there is no one is challenging them, so for them, this is a norm. This is the way it is. It's structure. So therefore, no one is challenging that. So that is the way it should be. So no, we need to challenge those unconscious bias so that we can rewind, and that affects us on a daily basis.
And like you said, Jala, unless and until men, especially men, realize that they've got that we all got unconscious bias, but it depends how deep your unconscious bias is. So unless and until we can challenge that unconscious bias in ourselves, I think that's the only way we can change our mindsets to be able to move forward and forge a gender equal world. Really, like you said, if not, we're gonna be here every year. We're gonna sit on these platforms like these, and we'll be talking about it, but nothing would happen. Not even a slight change will happen. Aisha, I can see you. It looks like you wanted to comment. You wanted to comment on there.
I just keep on smiling when my brother talking, because oh my God, the thing is, for me, it's like
Aisha, can I just say that's why we brought him onto this platform, actually.
No, he's just one. I mean, that we all need to celebrate tonight, and I really, really would like to say my uncles, my dads, my brothers who are watching, really to listen to his words. This is not about competition. And one of my lecturers usually said, what's the phrase he used in lectures? He said, I forgot this phrase I want to use. Like we ask solutions sometimes places where they don't exist. For example, this patriarchy system that we all talk about, men heading the family, men owning everything. Men themselves know that responsibilities and duties and functions have shifted long time ago. So how do we come together to create an enabling environment for all of us to flourish? Because this is about supporting one another. There wouldn't ever be a home where it's only the man who said and it happens and there is a happy home. That it cannot be. So if women are not empowered, you have children with that woman. How are they going to help your children? Just to bring it to that basic thing, I think men should really encourage their women to be empowered. And how do you empower a woman? Again, we're going to go back to this and what my brother was talking about, enabling environment. How do we create it? So this question has to be coming back and forward. So sometimes people will say that they don't want to bring the government into these conversations. But for me, for all of us here today on this panel, I believe if I'm in Sukuta, I didn't come to UK, where would my life be today? It wouldn't be the same. The United Kingdom government. I was my first degree. I have my first degree at the age of 38. And I did my master's at the age of 48. I am 51 years old. Yeah. So if I don't have that enabling environment, would I be able to be educated the way I am today?
Aisha, you chose to challenge yourself as well. Look at the age when you had your master's.
I do understand that bit, but we also have to hold our government really to understand that all these fancy things that we all are saying today is because we have been given that environment to challenge ourselves and achieve. If we have that the right environment, I will tell you, Kaddy, I have never worked in my life in the Gambia.
Oh, wow.
All I do buy and sell, which I'm ashamed of. My last classroom and to go to university, to go to college in here is about 20 years apart. So if I don't have, and let me tell you something, a woman really saw my talent. I was a security officer in Women's Aid. Yeah. When they bring their assessment, the kind of things that I will tell her, even though I don't understand this system at the time, she said to me, Aisha, you are very smart, you are intelligent. Why don't you go to school? Yeah. So that woman, that manager, pushed me to go and do my first diploma in health and social welfare. So for me, supporting from individuals and supporting from the government is very, very key to me, my development. And I think without all, we can challenge ourselves. Honestly, we can say all these fancy things. Why don't women? Because today Fatoumatta is gonna be my partner. That just happened because I am with her on this platform, and after this program, I'm gonna be on the phone to her tomorrow. Honestly,
together,
I'm gonna say, exactly. Why do I have that mindset? Because I know it's not about me anymore. It's about what we can provide for other people. So if you are not educated, if you have not been have that awareness, poverty brings a lot of jealousy. Poverty brings everything that we are experiencing in our society is all poverty. And poverty is not just about material. When you are poor in education, when you are poor in awareness, when you are poor in day-to-day things, because you always see other people as your problem. Instead of me going to Jabang, like I would say, from top to bottom today, I'm ethnic Isles. You know,
that's amazing.
Area is from ethnic Isles. All these things that I wear is from ethnic. Exactly. So if we cannot do that for each other, what can we do really? So, but if you see me running from Kaddy's business to go and spend my money somewhere, something is definitely wrong with my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And what can we do to challenge that mind? It's through education. I believe in education. Education, not just Western education. Peer groups can change things. Women can come together and form these peer groups and share experiences and try and help each other to understand that it's not about competition. It's about collective efforts. It's about us to come together, bring the little resources you have, I bring the little resources Kaddy have, Fatoumatta have. We put them together and solve problems gradually. Partnership is the key for me. Without those things, we will not go anywhere. I don't know about all of you, how you get educated in this country. I heard Kaddy talking about EB paying for her to go to university. But even that, EB is here working. If he's working them in India and earn that small salary, how can he send his wife to go and study master's degree? So for me, that and every environment, honestly, our parents before, we always said olden days, those people, they have everything. They were rich in everything. They don't have formal institutions, but they don't have formal institutions, but they have informal institutions, and which works for them perfectly. They support each other. Women do their gardens, women do their annual gamos, women, they have things on a calendar, activity calendar that they follow annually. But we, honestly, we are kind of like a lost generation. Our Western education is not at a par, and we don't understand our Gambian values.
Of Gambian culture. Yeah.
No. So, I mean, it's like we are totally lost. And like I always said, we need to be careful sometimes how we challenge ourselves as well. Honestly, we're gonna bring ourselves into a melting pot, because Gambian women, I never meet. I'm gonna be biased here. Gambian women, for me, they are number one women. If you really come to see people who really struggle and push themselves, all this the lack of unity that we're talking about, through education, through interaction. Kaddy once did, I don't know whether you heard about it, did a 1 week kind of a women forum here. We go out, that's a month or whatsoever. Every week we go out and we sit together and we chat.
Yeah,
That
I hear you guys.
only,
You guys did enjoy that actually.
obviously, people were so happy. People come out and talk, share. And this is what we need. It's not, if you said education, we're not talking about you go and, into the classroom and sit down and just do A, B, C, D, E. We can educate each other through peer groups. We can mentor each other. We can help one another. We can discourage some attitudes in the society. We can encourage each other. That's what empowerment stuff for me, really.
Thank you, Aisha. Strong words there, quite true. We need to enable each other in a more positive direction, actually, come together collectively, build up partnerships, like having pockets of businesses over there or pockets of little societies, but then coming together, then we can achieve more. And, there are certain fundings that you can only get that when you are a partnership, when you are collectively together. That's the only way you can get it. But as an individual, you may not meet the necessary requirements to be able to get it. So it's something that we need to look at. And I'm glad that you and Fatoumatta have connected on this platform tonight.
Oh, yes.
By the sounds of it, after this forum, you two will connect further to look at how you can leverage.
Without a doubt. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I am really proud to see a young woman like her doing what she's doing. This is what we need to do. We need to empower them. I am soon be retired. So who do we want to take my mantle forward? It's them. So if I have the resources, the knowledge, the skill, the financial resources that I can pass on to her for us to work together and achieve, it's not about us anymore. Allah has given us what we already achieved. So what can we do to take that knowledge and this and everything back in the community? That's what I stand for. And if I meet anyone who is doing similar work, like what my aims and my limits are, I will definitely be partner with you. And Fatoumatta, honestly, count me in.
Good. Fatoumatta, I just wanted to explore another point with you actually. So single mothers scheme is doing amazingly well. The statistics that we've just gone through with you on this forum, they're quite shocking. Your scheme is doing really well. I'm sure, or can I just check, like, when it comes to funding, have you got like sponsors, or are you working with any other organizations in the same line of field that are kind of like supporting you and providing you with like the tools and helping the scheme to move forward? Or how is that? What's in that actually? If you can just touch base on that with us.
Actually, when it comes to support, when we were starting the scheme, I knew that it would be very difficult. I knew the support would come, but it would be very difficult. But fortunately, my husband was willing to support and make sure that the aims and objectives will be met with or without support. So, like I said, the single mothers do a lot of things. They do soap making, tire recycling, and lotions and all of that. So whatever they do, for us to be able to sustain ourselves, we make sure we sell it out there to people. And I don't sell it. The single mothers themselves go out there and do a marketing, sell the things, and make sure they buy other things for others to learn. So like we have a self-sustaining mechanism kind of. We've knocked on doors. Yeah, we've gone to people for partnership. And unfortunately, in the Gambia, we don't have any partners yet or financial support yet. But fortunately,
but it looks like you got one now. You got Aisha. She's smiling. You got Aisha now.
Yeah.
She's gonna be your partner.
Sure. But fortunately, we having support from Canada,
Okay.
based on the things we were doing on Facebook and on Instagram and other places. Because the little things we do, we share with friends and families, and they share on social platforms. So we were lucky to meet up with a lady who was really interested in Gambia.
Okay.
And thanks to her, her name is Lisa Watson, and she's a Canadian that is
Oh.
married to a Gambian man, and she has been so concerned. So she has been supporting in a lot of ways. They have been funding us like literally every month with a huge amount of finances to sustain these women, because sometimes when they come here, we create an environment like a home for them. Some of them will come and complain they don't even have transportation. You know that these
Mm.
people really, really want to learn, but they don't
Yeah.
have the means. So we
The
create
means
the
to get
support for
there.
them,
Yeah.
assist some of them
Mm.
with transportation. Yeah, buy foodstuffs and keep it in the kitchen. We allow them to cook for themselves and feel at home. In the office, like in the school, they have a class,
Yeah.
they have a kitchen, and they feel at home. Yeah, so thanks. So far, so good. We've been having that support from Lisa. And like I said, in Gambia, it's always hard to set up something that you
Yeah.
solely want to help people, and it's a non-profit organization. But thanks to her, and we are still urging others out there that are probably potential partners. I have seen
Yeah.
lots of politicians. Like I said, I have seen the vice president. I have seen a lot of ministers along the line in the journey, and all they tell me is that I should. They give me good advices. They encourage me and they push me.
Mm.
And I believe that the financial support, it's not just the ultimate. We need them to give us other sources of support like social support and a lot of other supports,
Even the
which
moral
I believe some
support
of
as
them are
well.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because these
Yeah.
women, some of them are really depressed. Some of them have postpartum depression. Some of them they have different issues. So you cannot come to class and focus with all of these issues. So we create a session where we will invite some of these experienced people to come on board and give them counseling, counsel them on how they are supposed to improve themselves based on what happened to them or whatever in the environment that they normally surround themselves. We show them
So
that no human being is perfect and everybody has
yeah.
their own problem. So our
Yeah.
strength is measured based on our ability to be able to control ourselves and to be able to put ourselves in a better situation no matter where we are or no matter what situation we are in. We just
Yeah.
need to have faith. So I've been having some of these government officials coming talking to them. I've had some experts who come and give them counseling, and the counselings are still going on. I believe it made impact in a lot of women's life. I have a Thanks to the single mother scheme, I have a namesake because there was a woman who was having an issue with the husband, and she was very very depressed. But thanks to the counselings we were having, we were told that at home she was not even eating or talking to anybody completely, like she was shutting herself up. But after counseling classes, she comes back to class and she feels free. She communicates with everybody. She goes home and open up. And unfortunately and unknowingly to us, she was even pregnant. So after she gave
Oh.
birth, she had to name her child after me because
Oh.
surprisingly, because she felt I changed a lot of things in her life and I really made
Yeah.
an impact. It really made me feel that I need to do this better. I need to focus more with or without support because at least changing the life of one person is much sufficient for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that would make you feel that the work that you're doing is rewarding, Fatoumatta, and it is. From what you just said,
Yeah.
it's such a rewarding scheme that you've got there. Creating that safe space for women to come and be themselves, for women to come and to be able to open up about themselves, to talk about their issues, to talk even to talk about their mental health, like
Sure.
having that space, creating that. Like, I'm talking about Gambia. We all know what Gambia is like you cannot tell anyone, you cannot talk to anyone about your mental health without being scared in the first place, or kind of like thinking, oh my god, what how they're going to stigmatize you. So that it's really, really, it's very rewarding. It's very, very rewarding. Are you going to show us that tire that you sat on that, because you
Yes,
said you're going to show it to
I
me?
am still sitting on it. And this
Because
is
I'm
it.
just
It was made by, I don't know whether you can see it properly. It was made by the single mothers. This is it. Like, it's a tire sofa that
Oh, wow.
was made by the single mothers.
Guys, can you see it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Fatoumatta, that
It's a
is
complete
amazing.
set.
Tire sofa.
It's a complete set. You can
Wow.
see.
Wow.
You can
Wow,
see it.
it's
That's
beautiful,
amazing.
and yeah, it's really, really amazing.
That's it. It's a
It's,
complete set. Like,
And
yeah.
so
And
you
it was
sell
done
this
by,
out in a community.
yes,
This
we
has been
do.
sold.
We send
Yeah.
it out to anybody who has interest in it.
Wow.
And whatever profit that comes out of it, we make sure we give the single mothers that made it, and we buy the things again for them to for other batch to be able to have the opportunity to train and do other things.
it's
Wow,
well done.
that is really that, yeah, well done. Well done. That's incredible. That's
Thank you.
amazing. I'm quite shocked actually. I have to visit Single Mother Scheme when
Yeah.
I come to Gambia on my next visit. Definitely.
Sure.
It's amazing. Incredible.
Mhm.
Incredible. I'm
Yeah.
not sure where Kaddy Jabang, because I saw you earlier on trying to put some comments in. Um have you got any comments you wanted to add on to what
What
we've
Fatih
just
just
been
said. Yes.
yeah, what Fatih just said, creating that safe space for women to, talk about their issues, talk about their mental health and well-being, and be able to be themselves really.
Yeah, of course. I think we most of the time we like for us in the diaspora, we kind of so scared to find the right people. I don't know if it's the right people or the right gang to move
Person.
with, to do your gossips with, that and feel comfortable that that gossip is not going to go out. It's all good for your mental health. How do we create that safe space? I think it's a collective responsibility from the whole community. You've everyone's got to surround themselves with the right kind of people around you. Not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everyone's going to be your friend. But if you're going to be an enemy to somebody, just be the enemy and don't recruit other enemies like a gang of enemies. It's okay to deal with one enemy, but what most of the time, as women, what we normally do is like you are an enemy to Aisha, and then you still want to recruit Makadi and Jala and Fatoumatta
To
to
be
also
enemies.
be an enemy, and that would be difficult to manage, And
Yeah.
then when women or community people in our communities have set up ventures or things that will develop the community, or we
By
wonder.
the way, Kaddy, hold on. Your husband's asking, Ibrahim Jan is asking, how much is the sofa, Fatoumatta? How much is the sofa? It looks like we've already got a buyer. How much is the sofa?
And that's how we got to support each other. How
Yeah.
we cannot most of the time, people set up fantastic ventures, and then there's just like little support from the community until that venture collapse, and then we lose that one, and we're like, oh, let's wait for another venture. We shouldn't let that happen. I think we
Yeah.
should all be an ambassador for each other. You shouldn't wait until you don't know who's going to benefit from single mother. When she said that single mother scheme, I'm pretty sure she didn't know like she's going to get a namesake or other,
No.
other people who are benefiting from those
Yeah.
ventures. So
Yeah.
everyone should create that safe space for each other. Women should be able to support each other instead of like bring her down syndrome. I think most of us suffer from that syndrome. I don't know why. Instead of like supporting and creating that environment and believing in, women, we all know like women are powerful. We all know that,
Of
but I don't
course.
know sometimes like how comes we tend to just forget how powerful and valuable we are as human beings, or how we are just so equal to men. If you give us the opportunity, whatever men can do, we've seen women going into space and being doctors and doing fantastic, being
Yeah.
top directors in the food in like every aspect of life in these societies. So that could happen for us as well. We've just got to believe and then do exactly like what it's not rocket science. We live in these societies, like, okay, like Isa said, in Gambia there's no system there. While we wait for those systems to be set up, we in the diaspora are blessed. We should be able to like take advantage of like the opportunities that are here, support each other, you know, create that wealth for within our communities, not just pray for each other, but support each other, and don't let us not underestimate like what somebody can do. And if they're going to do it for themselves, why not? One person is able to do something, one person live happy, healthier, is good for our community, instead of like, you know, bringing each other down, fighting all the negativity. It just doesn't help like the way forward for us women. It doesn't help our mental health. It doesn't help how long we live. It doesn't help our financial situations or anything like that. So for me, I think it is a collective responsibility, especially from the women. You know, we set up this, like Jala said, let us set the table. We set these tables up
and invite them on board.
And
totally
invite
agree,
them.
Kaddy.
We already started.
We
already started.
Aisha, any final comments on that? Because I think we got a few minutes to go. Any final comments on that? You know, creating that safe space. You know, you run the welfare hub in the Gambia, and you welfare advocate over here. I'm sure you know you've had a lot of stories about mental health, women and mental health and well-being. It's all part of empowering women. It's all part of it. So any final comments from you on that?
Yeah, from today we already started that. We've
got the table already, isn't it? Yes, that's what I wanted to hear.
We are already on the move. We are already on the move. We you know, I like positive thinkers. We just need to be positive. We're doing extremely well. We don't have to bring ourselves down. We're doing well, and we all need to hold each other and keep on moving. That's all what we need to do. At the moment, what the work that we are all doing are all great. In any aspect that you're looking at, women are doing fantastically well. So all what we need is coming together, be united, try to change this mindset that we are all crying about. Because sometimes, for example, Kaddy mentioned something like be kind, the kind of words that you choose sometimes when you're addressing somebody. For example, I will put my last Garambuba, and I might be thinking that today I am the best dressed and everything. Someone will just look at my head tie and just sabotage that head tie. And the person
and that will bring your whole day down. That would just bring your whole day down.
That person will not know how I even struggled that day to come out of my home. You know, so
or
we don't know
how even to get out of bed, or maybe even to get out of bed on that day. Like,
so we don't understand how fragile somebody is. So be kind, and we really be cautious, because sometimes we Jalamang talks about unconscious biasness. Sometimes we mention things we don't really are conscious about what we are saying. So we can really be kind. I think that's the first thing, and we empathize. You know, these are things that we cannot learn from the textbooks. We need to empathize. We have empathy for each other. We really, really, really need to try, because mental health in our context of the Gambian community, we don't actually, because to us, ni moy fano fai, what ra nyamata ko ante. So that's our understanding. So all this depression, anxiety, all what we are talking about in the UK context, in the Gambia, people don't understand this, because they will say
that you mad.
That woman is really struggling within herself. You know, women will give birth, and then they might be suffering from postnatal depression, and they would like to touch their babies. But who understand this really? And they will be shouting at people, will put them down, people will insult you more. And because I once had somebody at home, one of my visits, like what do we call depression in Mandinka? Because I don't know it. I never had the word depression when I was in the Gambia. Come like and the person said to me, come this is the So, and anxiety, I heard in the community before, people are saying fulanding kurang or bekarila. So if people say fulanding chankar or something, if you talk about anxiety, farala. Yeah. So the terminology itself doesn't exist in our communities. So I'm going to applaud Fatoumatta again, the work that she's doing, because you have to recognize these things, the signs and symptoms of depression. You have to really have that know-how and enable you even to realize that, acknowledge that woman is going through something to help them. So we need to know first before we can address the situation. So for me, be kind, be considerate, and have a bit of empathy in you all the time when you're addressing people. You don't know how fragile that person is. You don't know what that woman is going through. So we in the developed world, at least we know that people got depressed, people got anxiety, people have a lot of mental health issues. So how do we address each other? So this bullying each other on the social media, we go after each other, we call each other names. As Kaddy said, we have this, pockets of guns everywhere. You know, the environment is so toxic for everyone. No one wins here. We all become losers. You know, we all become unhealthy. We all become scared. Me coming here tonight, I was wondering if people watch my video, what they're gonna make of me. You know, so
you've been amazing. You've been amazing, Aisha. You've been amazing.
But this is
you've been amazing.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. That fear of what people will think of you. Yeah, or what would they say?
I used to do a talk like this before in a certain platform, but because of my anxiety level, anytime I come out from that program, my whole family will be worried about me because I feel so scared of the backlash. At the end, I have to stop. Yes.
Oh.
So we don't know what we put each other through. We don't understand the level how we trouble each other, and I think this we challenge ourselves. I will challenge every woman to be more kind. You know, let's see each other like we all are limited in our own right. No one here is completed. So I don't have everything. You don't have everything. But together we can bring that strong womanhood that we're talking about.
Really strong words, final comments from you there, Aisha. We almost run out of time. Jalamang, any final thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would like to thank
when I say final thoughts on that, Jalamang, when I say final thoughts on that, I know you're ready to carry on until midnight, but we've got a few minutes left.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, Aisha, just to answer your question, and I think what Aisha is talking about, you know, to avoid bringing one another is celebrating one another. Yeah. So women need to continue to celebrate one another and accept that we're together. And I think for Fatoumatta, you know, to partnership is very important. And I'm just, you know, taking back what is happening in terms of partnership in the Gambia, because I run an organization in the Gambia before when, you know, when we created the Child Protection Alliance. And then I remember getting a hell lot of money for other projects, but I know that is not within our remit of our organization, but I have to give it to other organizations. And to me, those people should recognize that, and some of them are in position now. They know that we were able to reach out and give them. So I don't, you know, I'm still baffled why they cannot reach out to you. But we will talk outside of this forum, because that is very important. You're doing an amazing job, you know, to try and turn people's life and trying to ensure that you lift people's spirit, and then to show them that, you know what, all is not over. There is still an opportunity, and you are creating that opportunity. So what we need to do is celebrate one another, celebrate women, but also challenge men exceptionalism, because sometimes men feel that they are exceptions, and then as women, we need to challenge that exceptionalism. And then as, you know, Aisha talk about, we need to challenge that mental poverty, you know, that awareness here. We need to challenge that, to say that things need to turn around so that we can all be together and ensure that we achieve that, you know, women diversity in our society, and then define that diversity to say that it's not competition, it's not about power differences, it's about complementing one another and treating one another as equals, subject in terms of what we do and how we do what we do. And that will create that exposure, and we will learn, and then we'll hand the battle to one generation to another. And I think Aisha is right. this is almost becoming a confused generation, and it appears there is what is called intergenerational conflict. And it's how do we work on that intergenerational conflict to ensure that we bring something. But you know what? I want to thank all of you for inviting me, but I also want to thank my brother for creating this opportunity, which is Ibrahim, in this forum. And I think, Ibrahim, you got to bring these people back, you know, because I think what they did today, this is what I call it a learning bantabar, you know. And then I think our generation, you know, of young people out there need to see this, needs to hear this, and understand that they can turn this page around. We have Fatoumatta in the Gambia, one individual created something and is trying to turn life of thousands of people. That is one individual. So imagine if we come together as a force, what are we able to do? So together we can make a difference, and then let's celebrate one another. Let's not bring one another. Let's ensure that we can do it together and share that opportunity and share the experience. Don't say that if I share it, I'll be going backward. No. It's togetherness, we will get there. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And then happy International Women's Day for everyone. And then I challenge myself to promote diversity.
Great, thank you, Jala. Thank you, Jala. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to that word, Jala. You challenge yourself to celebrate diversity. So I'm actually definitely gonna hold on to that word. That's like hanging now, definitely. Kaddy, any final comments on you there before we wrap up the show tonight?
Yeah, well,
Kaddy, keep it brief. I know what you like. Keep it, actually, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Talabu. Okay. Well, to be quite honest, I think it was a fantastic opportunity to do this. You will have, like, we couldn't do it any at a better time than this. Women need to be comfortable to do things, and then they should be happy and proud. I don't think there should be no limitations for women to still think that we still believe in the world of our grandmothers. You know, how they cook benachin. If you still continue to cook benachin like that, be assured that you're going to get diabetes. And we all know that now. So why should you still continue to cook benachin with oil? You know, so I think it's a daily learning process.
And Kaddy, just on that, you know,
every single day, we all pick a challenge every single day, and we will see the difference that will create in our lives. And then we shouldn't be scared to, like Jala said, if men are not creating the atmosphere for us, let us create that atmosphere, because life is not constant, and we've all seen like the uncertainty that is it can throw at any of us. You know, it did throw cancer at my family, and then it threw the pandemic at all of us that we were not expecting. But if you don't prepare and if you don't change your mindset, you're going to stay the way you are. And then, you know, life is too short, but there's a long way to go as well. If you live a life, live it better. At least try and make those little changes for yourself. It will make you happier. It will make you, we will have a better society. We will have like a more advanced society where we can also be proud of, and not being looked down on just because we are poor, or we are not poor at all. Like you all said, we are not poor. It's what we do with up there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kaddy.
Great. Thank you so much, Kaddy. And just for our viewers' sake, anyone still there viewing, listening to us, watching these, I want to say thank you so much. And in case you're interested, Fatou's sofas, those amazing sofas made by single moms, they made it with tires. Actually, I'm quite impressed, and I'm sure every one of you are impressed. Actually, it's $15,000. In case you're interested, you can inbox her on Facebook, and she will let you know the details and the processes involved in that. But what I wanted to say is, we've now come to the end of the show. It's been great. It's been amazing. I'm sure you all agree with me that the panelists have given their best today. They have done justice to the topic, women and empowerment. We could carry on till midnight, but guys, you know what? It's Friday night, so I'm sure we've taken a chunk of your Friday evening out of your schedule already. So we don't want to hold you here any much longer. But just to recap what the words of our panelists: be kind. We're challenging all women, starting from myself. Be kind to one another. be compassionate to one another, show empathy. Let's come together. Let's work as partners. Let's stop seeing each other as competitors. We are here to enable each other for a better future. And also, as a woman, start thinking, open yourself to challenges. When opportunities are there, go get them. Don't wait for opportunity to come and knock on your door. You know that old saying that people keep saying, opportunity will knock on your door. No. You go knock on the door. If opportunity don't come your way, you go and knock on it. Challenge yourself. Be brave. Be confident. Find that safe space where you can talk about any issues that you think that you facing in life. Don't feel that you're going to be judged, because at the end of the day, if you have that fear, it's going to stop you. And what's that going to create? Limiting belief in yourself. One thing I've always, there's a word that I always thought about. Well, my dad told me that on his dying bed. He was like, Kaddy, knowledge is your only power. Knowledge is your only weapon as a woman. And boy, did I cling on to that. I'm still clinging on to that. Anywhere I can find that knowledge, I'm still trying to gather more knowledge as I go every single day. So what I'm trying to say is, it's never too late to do that one thing that you always wanted to do as a woman. Our men as well, please appreciate your women, support them, empower them. Don't just say it by word, but walk the talk. Empower them. They've got women have got so much potentials. I'm sure you can see it. So let's please come together collectively. We can create a gender equal world and fix all these issues. It's not just women issues. It's all of collectively our issues. So we need to fix it. Let's create those structures that can enable us to get there. But until we change our mindsets and our unconscious bias, which we all have, we will never get there. Another International Women's Day will come on. We'll be here again talking about all these things again, but we wouldn't even have moved an inch from where we left it a few years ago, or should I say a decade ago. So let's try and change our mindsets, support each other, be kind to each other, empower the women in your lives, and men as well. Empower the women in your life, women as well. Let's be there for one another. Let's stop all this gossip. Let's stop all the demotivating stuff that we put out on social media. It's not healthy at all, and it's not pretty on a woman. So until we come your way again for another day or another session, because hopefully we'll bring all these panelists back come together again. They did amazing today. I want to say thank you so much to all our viewers tonight. Happy International Women's Day. But I want to say as well, happy Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is around the corner. So to all you amazing moms out there, happy Mother's Day. And to Jammeh. Jammeh is our technician behind the studio tonight. Jammeh, thank you so much. It was meant to be an hour-long program. We've gone over 2 hours, so thank you. My panelists, I cannot thank you enough, and I'm sure our viewers are thanking you as well. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Friday schedule to be here with us and to give your experience about this amazing topic for International Women's Day. I want to say thank you so much, and God bless you all. Have a lovely weekend all. Until we come your way next time, thank you for having us. Thank you.
Agnic-Isles.com. Agnic-Isles is a newly launched online store brought to you by Kaddy Jabang to the Senegambian African community. Agnic-Isles will sell all your Agnic products at a reasonable price, just under one click. Visit our friendly online site where you can buy products from clothing, groceries, fashion accessories, African and Caribbean food, all under one roof. Agnic-Isles is also providing a door-to-door delivery service to your families in the Gambia. Tell your friends and families back home, Agnic-Isles is here for easy and hassle-free shopping on www.agnic-isles.com. Any information, contact our friendly admin. We're here to help. Agnic-Isles is our own.
sponsor a Gambian girl through SAG Foundation. We are placing girls on the path to success through education. Our aim is to realize a Gambia where every girl is given equal access to education to reach their full potential. This is how we do it through our model of affecting generational systematic change. This is Amy. She is not in school, an underprivileged girl excluded from school due to lack of financial support. The SAG Foundation enrolled her into school, and she is equipped with all the essential resources to have a quality education. Amy is now making a difference in her community. Amy is now contributing towards the generational systematic change. Education changes everything for a girl.